To create your own map in Google My Maps, first navigate to mymaps.google.com. Once you go there, then you'll need to be sure that you're logged into your Google account. So if you're not, you'll have to click sign in. I'm already signed in here. And then you can see I've already created a map, but your first time that you go in here, you'll have to create a new map. On your new map, then with your class, you'll want to locate your own area. And since we're going to be calling this something about our community connections, we might title it Our Community or something like that. And you can add a description if you want. Mapping places we go, for example. And then you can search here in the search bar to kind of zoom in on your area. I'm going to type in the name of the school that I work at. So we're going to start with my school in Chicago. And so with your class, you might start and say, okay, we're going to find our place. That will give you this little pin, but it's just like a marker, not holding a spot yet. So if you really want to say, yes, this is a place I want to add, then this add marker is what you'll need to use. And click it here. And we can title this Ogden Elementary. You could add a description here if you want. We're going to say, okay, this is our school. And then you can zoom out with your mouse or even just pinching on your trackpad. And you might want to say, okay, we found our school. Does anyone notice anything around our school that might look familiar? So we'd say, oh yeah, here's the lake. We're in Chicago. We're right by the lake. You might say, oh, there's the park right by our school that we can see. Students might start to say, oh yeah, I can see where my house is in this area, and identify other things. So for this map, you could add some pins to different areas if you want, but we're going to start with just a school. So you can see it's already added it here in a new layer. And you could divide out the items that you're going to mark on your map into layers, such as schools. Maybe you have a couple schools in your area that students go to, like a middle school that's nearby that they know of. And then you can also here pick the style. So if you want each school in this kind of category to have the same color or the same symbol, then you'd have to change it, to uniform style. And then anything that you add in here would have the same color, or you could even add a little different image. Maybe we want to have just the marker or a star for our school. So that would change it over here to a little star circle. And we want it to be purple. There we go. So then this green thing is still just what I've searched for. So I can take that away. And then we want to add a couple of places that we have identified on our connection maps. So maybe we know that we've gone to some grocery stores. So I'll search for grocery stores and it'll give me those little green markers again. And we'll look for the ones in our neighborhood that students go to. So I know for my school, a lot of students might go to, let's see where it is. Search up here in the area. We might go to Jewel Osco. It's a pretty common grocery store. And we search for the Jewel Osco. And we could say, okay, here's a Jewel Osco down here. And again, if I want to actually add that as a pin, I'm going to have to see, do I want to do it in the school layer or do I want to over here add a layer? So maybe I'll add a layer to add some grocery stores. And if you wanted to ignore the layers and just do everything in one layer, that's totally fine too. Grocery stores. And here I'm going to add this to my map. That's another way that you can add a little pin without having to click on this pin up here. And once I do that, I could change the style either here on the side like I did before, or I can click it here and say maybe I want my grocery stores to be green because of green food and produce. And then if I wanted to make a different icon, some students might find this kind of fun. It doesn't really matter. You could add just the regular marker for all of them if you want. Let's see, maybe places and there's food at a grocery store. So I'll add that and go, okay, so that's a food place. So maybe I'll add a couple grocery stores. Once I add a couple grocery stores, then I could go on and add maybe a pharmacy, the Target nearby, anything that students have visited lately, like parks, and maybe like a place where we get COVID tests. So I've got my grocery store here and I've got my school, and then maybe we would also identify some places where students live. So I know that you can see a hospital here. This is a pretty common hospital I would mark on my map. Maybe some students live up here in this area. So maybe I'll add a pin and say, you can just make it pretty general and say this is a place. So I'd say, okay, and that will show this. And then I could map the distance from maybe that place where students live to a grocery store. So to do that, I would take this line right here, and I can add a line or shape, and I'm going to go from their front door, and I click once, and then I can go all the way down this road here, over here, click again to bend a corner, over here, click again, and then double click when you're finished. And the cool thing here is it actually shows you the distance right away. So if I say walk to grocery store or distance to grocery store, people drive normally, then down here it'll say 1.6 miles, which you can use to compare distances when you're ready.